It's happening. You're right.
Not at the moment, no, because United aren't. We're in a little bit of trouble, man.
We are in a little bit of trouble. There's some people in the comments like we haven't got any depth whatsoever, and you don't think that's true. I think he's quite right, except wingers.
No, I, in terms of depth, I think we've got depth in. We don't. It's hard to say depth in midfield because obviously we don't have another defensive midfielder apart from Casemiro. But if you look at midfield area,
arguably no number 8.
If everyone's fit, it's Bruno, Mount, Casemiro, Eriksen, and McTominay. And then
definitely don't rate McTominay.
And then Kobe,
he's doing everything.
And then you've got Kobe Mainoo as well, who's going to be another first team player.
Yeah, but he won't be starting much. I don't think.
I think
he might force his way in, but I don't think he's in the gaffer's plans to start much.
I think his trajectory was that he was going to be the way I looked at it, the way we looked against, he started against Real Madrid, he started against Arsenal, and he played well, exceptionally well, obviously, against Arsenal. He looked like he trusted him in terms of the first 11 against Real Madrid. It gave me the impression that if he finished pre-season strong without being injured, he would have been well in with a shout of starting the game.
So Luke Shaw's injured, Malacia is injured.
Yes.
And Alvaro Fernandez is about to get loaned.
It's either loaned or sold to Granada.
Ridiculous if we sell him.
The
guy's got a ceiling.
He's got a higher ceiling, and the way that United have navigated this transfer window is we've sold quite a few players now, including youngsters.
For fuck all, by the way.
And I saw the total was like around 30 mil in terms of sales, and it's like 8 players or something. I don't know. It's like
Zidane, Brandon's gone on loan. That could have been an option.
Noah Emran.
Emran's gone. Fernandez isn't going to go for mega money.
Fred's gone. Tellez. We can't get a fee for Eric Bailly, so it looks like he's going on a free transfer.
Yeah. How have we sold someone to Saudi and not made any money? How's that work?
I thought he broke down. He broke down in Eric Bailly.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did he fail his medical?
I don't know what happened. He broke down.
What is going on with him?
It's to the point where United are so desperate to get rid of Eric Bailly that they're just saying, he's available for free. Our ability to sell players is awful. I said anyway that United probably are never going to be that good at selling players because I think other than, obviously it's probably changing now in terms of landscape. I think in terms of transfers, you're not going to say.
I have to stop you there because someone's just put it. Damian Brown says, I asked Steve if we were having a bad window as we didn't get Kane or Osherman or Kim and paid what clubs want. Steve said, no, how do you know we're in for him? And he said, Romano said so. Right. Romano's never been wrong. Romano saying United are in for someone doesn't mean United are in for someone. Does it? Did United bid for Kim? Did you have any evidence whatsoever United bid for Kim? Nope. Looking at the way we've moved this summer, can you say that United bid for Kim? You might have said that United had an eye on him. He might have been on a short list somewhere that if we maybe got blah-de-blah, but I don't think United bid for him. I don't know if we bid for Kane or not. I think we might have inquired, but that doesn't mean we were in for him. Asking, hey, how much is that? Listen, I've been to the Aston Martin shop. How much is that? Cool.
Yeah,
I'm not buying that.
Could have window shopped.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes just know what. And also, it's intelligence gathering. Asking how much Harry Kane is could make you make a decision on how much this kid's worth. Not every inquiry is... Hang on. Yeah, Damien, we scouted him for months apparently. Right. For those who aren't aware, I inadvertently started the Kim to United rumour in the World Cup, November, right? Now, whether there was any truth to that in the end, the genuine fact is I started the rumour accidentally.
The interest was genuine anyway before that, but I feel like you accelerated it with what you said. But it wasn't like United had no idea who Kim was and were inquired before you said that.
He's a good player on an international stage. Yeah, I think the talk of United being in for him, like what concrete evidence? So Romano said it. Cool. So the transfer guy linked a player that was going to move this summer to United. Come on.
Nah, the links were there, but it's just the way. What I'm saying with the way that we sell players, never mind how we buy them, is the fact that United, as I've said before, I think the only club above them probably is Real Madrid in terms of status and whatever. So that's why whenever United have sold to Real Madrid, obviously Ronaldo, etc., that's only times you can get a decent fee. I think United handle players so badly when they want to get rid of him that they hand all leverage to other clubs anyway, where they're like, we know you're desperate to get rid of him. We can't give him the stupid wages you've given him. We're not going to give you a decent transfer fee. And that's just going to... I think is that pretty much a hard problem to fix, because anyone that's leaving United or is available to be sold...
You're right on one hand, because Real Madrid don't tend... I don't think, to command big fees for their players ever.
I'm on about selling.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they don't. When they're selling players, they don't really get big fees. Barcelona, they generally let people go at what feels like market value. Like, look at what they've paid for some of their players and then what they've gone for. Is Memphis still at Barca, by the way, or is he somewhere else now?
Yeah, he's still at Barcelona.
Like, when you look at they spend a lot and then they let them go for next to nothing. When I think about other clubs, Chelsea seem to get good fees all the time, and they get big fat fees for their youngsters. Liverpool seem to get pretty good fees when they're selling players.
It's true. We did. Andrew said we paid a hell of a fee for Casemiro. That is true.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And we won't. When he leaves, it'll either be for free or fuck off.
He's at Atletico Madrid apparently now.
Oh, there you go.
Memphis. I didn't see it. I had no clue about that. That's actually very interesting.
So how much did he go for? Because didn't they pay 40 mil for him?
I have no idea how much they paid for Memphis, but I'm sure people in the comments will tell us how much Atletico paid for him.
Yeah.
Because I know that Barcelona had to sell players. I think that's pretty much every window they have for the next few years, where they pretty much have to.
Barcelona's accounting, honestly.
So
there's drug dealers who are way more relaxed talking to the taxman in Barcelona. Like the way Barcelona do it, I'd be surprised if anyone's got a handle on how Barcelona are doing it. When they're selling the rights to things 25 years in the future. They've sold the rights to their own TV station internally. Like, they're an absolute mad one. Oh yeah, by the way, Sky Sports have named a segment XG Files. Someone's obviously a fan.
Someone said
MK says no to Amrabat.
20 mil.
What no to you?
20 mil. The reason why people
Athletic paid 4 mil.
4 mil. Someone say 20 mil, I think.
Either way.
Yeah.
Barcelona don't buy players for that much, and we don't. 3 mil. Someone
3
says.
million. That's actually hilarious. We'd never get anyone for that, but obviously people gave Murta a little bit of credit in terms of thought that United were a little bit more stringent in terms of the way they addressed the transfer window, in terms of the way they negotiated. Nice. We started that, but then we reverted back to time.
You get Onana in.
Yeah, but the amount, but even the amount was an overpay. If in the end, for someone that had 1 year left on their contract, I feel like we didn't exactly.
We overpaid you.
Yeah, we did overpay. They obviously wanted a little bit more than that. What we did, I think Onana was about right.
How did fucking Chelsea manage to squeeze that out of us? Because we knew Chelsea were in a situation where they were going to do an absolute madness. That FFP's coming down around their ears. How were they able to hold on to us? Did they prey on our need to get a player in?
Yeah.
Enough where they were like, we know you'll pay.
That's basically the issue. I think every time that United negotiate in transfers, we don't have any leverage ever. Because the other team either know we're desperate to sell a player or we're desperate to buy a player. And obviously our history suggests that we end up paying whatever you want anyway.
That's why I kind of liked how we treated the McTominay situation. Kind of like, look, he can go, but you'll pay us a proper fucking fee for him. And I think 45 million for Scott McTominay. You try and buy another Premier League player with that experience, those credentials, from any other club in the Premier League and tell me you're getting it for less than 45 million. Now, we might all go, okay, Scott McTominay is not quite Manchester United worthy. But there's other Premier League teams selling to other Premier League teams for players in that ballpark. That Scott McTominay is right in.
Yep. And then you've got the whole factor of we're talking about different pointers to why we struggle to sell players. Maguire to West Ham, a large part of why that broke down is the wages that we pay players.
Which is going to be hard for us to get out. Obviously, that's a lot down to the Woodward era. I mean, the likes of Sancho getting $375. Fuck knows what Marcus's new contract is. He will not be short on the rent, I am sure. We obviously had the Sanchez, which changed every single time you looked at it. Potentially $500,000 a week sort of range. But I believe Haaland's on 800. at City.
Yeah, that's undisclosed though.
Never gets talked about.
No,
and that might be the only one that they actually have disclosed. There might be another one. Might be some next guy getting paid 200 grand a week.
I know De Bruyne's top 3 paid as well, but that's part of the issue. I don't know when City sell players. When City sell players, they really get big fees. They get decent fees as well, because obviously they got 30 million euros for Laporte.
Mate, they got 100 million for Zinchenko and Jesus, and they will literally back up players.
Do you think that's a lot to do with what they pay their players as well? Because I don't think the likes of Jesus and Zinchenko were on huge amounts of money.
They've actually done it pretty well too.
Yeah, fair. I think they do. I think that's what
big players are on big dough.
Yeah, but I think they don't pay middle of the road players more than they should be paid, whereas United do.
They're in the spot where they can go, well, do you want to win some shit or not? And people go, yeah, I'd like to win some shit.
That's that's what I mean. If you're a successful club, but you're winning things, and you've got a sense of direction.
Who was it?
Then players are more likely to actually want to come.
Oh shit! Which player was it? Fergie signed a player when we were successful, and gave them a pay cut to come.
What year was that?
I think it might have been Roy Keane.
So United no longer have the pull where we can get players to want to play for us without us offering them ridiculous wages.
You got for a door. Why am I coming to United? Well, it's Manchester United. It's the biggest club in the world. Okay, give you that. I think people can say, I'll give you that. That there's a thing about Manchester United. Sure. What else? Am I going to win the league? No, you're not. Probably not. Right?
Yep.
We're trying to get there. We think you can help us get there, but there's certainly no guarantees of any silverware whatsoever here. Okay. So why am I leaving Real Madrid?
And then the worst factor is the fact that we're not consistently in Champions League football. Like sometimes it's 2 seasons in, 1 season out, 1 season in, 2 seasons out.
That's what I'm saying. Vidic, yeah, it could have been Vidic as well. Makes sense. And mate, at Spartak Moscow, mate,
getting breaded.
Mate, he can't have been on big dough.
Can't have been bought.
So we must have absolutely rinsed him to bring him here.
Do you reckon?
I mean, if he was on 15 at Spartak Moscow, I'd be shocked. So what did we bring him in on? 12?
I don't know. Maybe back then, yeah. But I feel like the money in football now could have been on a little bit more than that. But the whole point that we're making is people wanting to come and play for United because it's United and we're winning things. We're in Champions League football consistently, and the whole the prestige of playing for Manchester United. Yeah. Obviously, elements of that is still there, but it's obviously dimmed a lot over the last 10 years. And United have gone into transfer markets and gone into negotiations so desperate for players that
they've just stacked the cash on the
just
table.
Gone like, we'll pay you what we want, and then you do that for so long, and then it comes to the point now where I think United have dug themselves in a bit of a hole that could take a little bit of a while to get out of.
Agreed. And Barcelona, to bring them up again for a financial shit show, Barcelona did that with Messi because Messi was on 2.6 million a week. Now people go, it's fucking Messi, bro. And you go, yeah, okay. On one hand, yeah, it is. But also, you're $1 billion in debt, partially because you paid this one fella about 600 million. So, and some people will go, well, worth it. And maybe you've got a fucking point, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you've got a point. But he walked out on you for free. So you didn't really get anything. Yes, you won a lot while he was there, and he broke every fucking record that has ever been created. But you're partially in this level of debt. In fact, you could probably quite easily draw a line of loss across that entire billion that you're in debt and pin it on Messi. Because Messi was on 2.6, but Griezmann was on 800. Now, why was Griezmann on 800? Because Messi's on 2.6. It means anybody, Ashley Young can go there and ask for 400. Like, do you know what I mean? You walk in there and you go, I play every week on the same pitch as he does. You can't pay me 100 grand. You can't pay me a 26 to what he's getting.
It's because it's
I'm worth $500,000.
It's just the precedent you set. Because is Jadon Sancho also on around the same amount of money as De Bruyne?
Yeah.
So Jadon Sancho's a top 5 earner in the Premier League.
Yes.
I
also think Varane and Casemiro probably have been in similar sort of ballpark. I don't see that as reported as often.
I don't know. Does Sancho's output? Do you know what I mean? Does Sancho's output really justify the amount that it's being paid? And then,
it clearly doesn't.
But then it happens because it's like he was young and we chased him for 2 windows, and then it's like
you put the bag on the table.
He also
had a couple of like genuinely world class output seasons.
Yes,
like he was it him and Messi were in terms of numbers, in terms of like chance creation and assists, like Messi, him, Bosch, like. So of course he's going to be chased like that. Yes, maybe there was a bit of a Bundesliga tax on that, but ultimately he put the numbers up, and then the accountant had to put the numbers up. But this happened. David De Gea.
Yeah, so players' wages shouldn't be disclosed. I don't think they are, like, legitimately. I think it's just people either find out, or sometimes they're ballpark guesses.
Some of the clubs are publicly owned, so they have to get out there. You're right.
You can't say agents are to blame. They're doing their job.
Yeah. It's everybody involved in football. And unfortunately, as the money comes into football, actually what happens is, I saw a great... what was it on? It was a really obscure channel, like Eat My Goal or something. Just like a real mad one. I don't even have a presenter on it. And it was like an explanation of what happens every time there's a TV revenue increase. And let's say the TV revenue increased by 30%, just to throw a figure out there.
Yep.
Players' wages will increase. How much do you think they go up by?
10%?
40.
40%?
So, like, every time the TV revenue goes bosh, the players' wages don't just go bosh to align. Like, so clubs now have got an extra 30 million a year to spend, just an argument, right? Do you think they spend 30? No, they spend 40. So it's like clubs are constantly outstripping because, if everyone else is going to pay 30, we better pay 40. Like, it's a mad arms race that's never gone. It's like someone squeezed all the toothpaste out of the toothpaste thing and gone, right, get that back in there. Like, you're never fucking going to get back in there. That's never getting back in there. Yeah. It's fucked and it's only going one way. And I don't know if the game needs to go bankrupt for it to return to some semblance of normality. But then I look at American sports and I go, yeah, no, it's not going to, is it?
It's not at all. It's just, that's what I'm saying. It's literally the opposite of the way they set up in the NFL and the NBA and American sports. They've always got salary caps.
But they make so much. I mean, the marketing involved in American sports, you have to take your hat off to because it's insane. Salaries there, you're talking people on hundreds of millions a season that can walk down every road in Manchester and not get stopped.
That's like, no, exactly, because obviously...
unless someone goes, he's a big guy. Anyway.
but I have no idea who you are. I might know, but someone else might not.
Do you know what I mean? But
there's a big bloke.
Motherfucker's on about 190 million a year. Who is he? No idea.
I feel like more people know than you think,
Maybe.
Someone said Henderson's on 100k. I think it's obvious why Forest chose Matt Turner as well. It's like, so Matt Turner was the backup for Arsenal. Henderson was our backup, but Henderson's 100k. It's just...
Shouldn't be on 100k unless you're a star.
How are you able to sell players to clubs lower down the Premier League if that's what you're paying them? Because obviously if they're going to want their wages at least matched or at least 80% of it.
I don't know how you get it back in. There's a couple of ways that you might be able to sort this out. One of them, I think, could be you rely more heavily on academy players and maybe you do more of the Mabry, the Pogba, the Burkhardt, the Fosu Mensah, the Chong style of recruitment, where you're allowing lads to get to 16, smashing it at Ajax or Feyenoord or wherever we've got the PSG, some of the places that we've signed some of these kids from, and then gripping them when they're 16 and giving them their first pro contract. Now these are guys on $7,500 a week. He can break into the first team on $7,500 a week. That takes the average down a little bit. And when you give my guy a pay rise, you give him 50. Or you're in the first team now, well done. You just had a great first season. You're 20, 21, there's 50. Rather than, we had to buy you from Borussia Dortmund for 80 million, there's 375. That might be the way that maybe your recruitment switches, or even if it just switches 50%.
Yep.
So you're still going getting your Hoylands at 75. He probably ain't on 300. He might be on more like 125.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder what Hoyland's on.
Because I've never seen it reported.
I think
means it's probably not impressive.
The only time that United did it well is when United signed Bruno. I believe he wasn't on that much.
Yeah, he was on like 80 or something.
On like 80k a year.
See, so we can do it. We just don't do it very often. And I think to get that entire mindset shift over, it's going to take you a decade. You've got to allow contracts to expire. You've got to allow the likes of David De Gea to, he's on too much and we don't get value for money. He's got to leave. Maybe someone makes that decision with Sancho. Can we sell him? Fuck no. Okay, well, he's going to have to leave then.
Yeah. Is that the reason why... do you reckon that's part of the reason why De Gea is still a free agent?
Shit, maybe. I mean, he's on nothing at the moment.
Yeah.
Is he still in Manchester?
I have no idea.
I need to keep it next weekend.
Sheriff Palace.
So, do you know what I mean?
Can he play out
though? No, he can't.
That's the problem.
I'm just saying I need a keeper. I'm just saying, do you want to stay fit or what?
Back up.
I wonder who's got his number.
Do you know what I mean?
I could get his number.
Find that out. But that's what I'm saying. He's literally gone. De Gea's gone from having being on 300k a week to being on nothing. 380. So like any club he's negotiating with.
You can imagine what the clean sheet bonus was as well. And he won Golden Glove last year.
Yeah.
He'd have been like sometimes clean sheet, new Lambo, let's go.
That's why he didn't want to. That's why he didn't want to take the pay cut. And that's why he's probably still a free agent now, because any club that he's negotiating with is not going to even pay him half that.
Someone's going to walk in and go, right, Dave, we like you. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Good experience. You'd be great for the club. We're going to pay you $125. And he goes, a day? No? All right, cool. Or he's just waiting there, doing his Duolingo, trying to learn Arabic, and just trying to see what happens. And he's going, Al Hilal? What colour are they in?
What colour are they?
Oh, by the way, I said this to Ronaldo. We should do a video.
By the way, it's not Project Mbappe anymore for the newborns. It's Project Al Hilal.
Project Al Hilal.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. I said to Ronaldo yesterday, he disagreed with me, but I want to know what you guys think. Would you be interested in a video that is a guide to Saudi Arabian football? Because I'm interested in finding out, and I think in the process of finding out, might as well fucking entertain you fuckers with it a little bit. What would that look like? That's like... did you know Nuno Espirito Santo was managing there until he fell out with Benzema? Me either, right? So wouldn't it be good to go, right, here's who's managing them, here's which fucking megastars they've got, and here's which bin men make up the other 5 players in the team. Is that not entertaining? I think there's something in that. Would you be interested in that video? Let us know in the comments.
I reckon you get 5 people say yeah. We do, because we've done a Saudi Arabia video before, which is really, really interesting. But I feel like you got a lot of people that won't be interested in it as well.
Oh yeah, Gamer Beans says not interested in Saudi Arabian football. That's fine. I'm probably not going to watch it, but I wouldn't mind knowing. Isn't Kante at the same team Benzema's at?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that's trying to get Mo Salah in? Isn't that... There's interest there, I think, in look at this fucking mega team that they've set up.
Maybe for you. I don't know.
Mehdi says...
I feel like it's 50-50.
I'll make them throw some money or make some brave decisions. So Alex Ferguson used to navigate well through injuries and played the likes of Phil, O'Shea, Fortune, Alan Smith, etc. almost in all positions. Who was we talking... Me and Ash might have been speaking about this yesterday. I don't know if it was on or off camera. Talking about... I think it was on camera, actually. He was asking me if I'd take Cole Palmer. And I went, probably not, no. One, City are never selling at United in any circumstance. They don't need to.
Yeah.
So there's no pressure on them to do that. So
they decided to sell two of their players to Arsenal, who are direct rivals for the league now. It's just like...
I just think there's a difference with United that they'd never cross. So there's no pressure for them to sell. I don't think they'd ever sell to United, for one. And for two, I don't think... Even if you see Cole Palmer doing stuff in the City team, I don't think that gives you a true indication of what that footballer is like. Because I've seen Cleverley, Anderson, Alan Smith, people that you just mentioned in there, Phil Neville. I've seen them come and play fucking excellent in a United shirt, surrounded by Scholes and Keane and Beckham and all of these lot around them. And you go, oh shit, Tom Cleverley should be England's central midfield. No, he shouldn't. He was just propped up by everybody else around him,
fair,
making good positions for him.
Tom Cleverley had a couple of really, really good seasons in a team that, if you looked at it, wasn't even that great around him.
But it's still, or you've underestimated just fucking how good Scholes and Giggs and real.
No, but I'm talking about the Cleverley Anderson era.
Yeah, them two in central midfield, absolutely bossing the Premier League. Was it 2010, 2011?
Around then,
we won a title that year. And we was looking mega until Cleverley got injured.
Exactly. So Cleverley had good seasons alongside Anderson.
Then where did he go from? Was Watford.
Watford didn't do as well.
The point I'm trying to make is, how good is Foden? How good is Palmer? Unless you might never see them in a shit club. But I don't necessarily think you can say, oh shit, no, that guy is the truth, until you see him carrying a team himself. Maybe it's easy as a youngster to come play for City, is the point I was making. In the same way it was easy for so many youngsters. Look at fucking Makeda. The guy couldn't get a start at Doncaster after leaving United. You know what I mean? Like the fall for some of these youngsters, you go, how did that happen? How did Lionel Cole end up playing for Wally Range in Lancashire?
No, it's half.
I saw him at United.
It's half and half though, because for players like Cole Palmer, I think to make it into a Pep Guardiola oil machine with the money they have and the players that they can have at their disposal, to get into the team and to be able to like even get substitute appearances, to play, to be integrated, you've got to be quite a high level of footballer. But obviously it's easier to play football if you're playing with better players. That is true. But still, I feel like there's got to be some sort of value to you or some sort of ability level to you if you're getting picked by Pep.
As we've said so many times, people that are at these clubs are fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like, they're sick. If you're still at a Premier League club, I'd say even at 17, 18, even if you're miles off the first team, you're still fucking sick. Most people watching don't know anyone as good as you. Like, that's how fucking good you are still. If you're still at a Premier League club at 20, 21, you've got something. Whether or not that can push on and become an international or a starter, well, that's up for debate. But you're still a fucking top footballer that's probably going to have a career in the game. Now, whether that's Championship, League 1, League 2, X or abroad, that's still up for debate. And that can go any way. There can be a literal spectrum of whether you become the new Phil Foden or fucking hell, Willow Flood or something. Remember him?
I don't remember him at all. But obviously, so Knight says our academy is awfully run. I wouldn't say that it's awfully run. I think you know what it is? I think the players that we sell that make it to the 21s and we sell them for like 500k to $1 million, I think that happens quite a lot throughout all the clubs in the Premier League, but I feel like ours are just highlighted a little bit more, especially the past couple of seasons.
Oh, if you look at Liverpool's academy over the last 30 years, what's it produced? Gerrard, Carragher, Trent,
Curtis Jones.
Do you know what I mean?
Curtis Jones is probably their new one. Other than that, no, they don't really produce anyone that become mainstays.
No.
So,
Johnny Evans is probably about as good as Carragher. United about how many now? What? I mean, really, or what?
To be fair, I never really rated Jamie Carragher that highly, to be honest.
He's someone that, because of his punditry, has elevated himself almost, whereas...
Like, people look back on his career a little bit more fondly.
Maybe, yeah.
That's actually true, because I feel like he's got an air of, like, self-importance. I think he rated himself a lot more than he actually was, whereas Gary Neville does the opposite.
Gary Neville totally does the opposite.
So when you watch the punditry of Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, the vibe's almost given that Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are the same level of player.
Yeah, these were the same.
When he weren't.
No.
So
it's like when Micah Richards on with Terry Henry, and you're like, what are we doing? And Joe else plays the career down as well.
the scene.
Someone that plays their career down so fucking badly. And I was lucky enough to hang out with him when I was in Qatar and bore him to death talking about Cruyff. But Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker was like Ballon d'Or player.
Yeah.
And he's just the guy that makes the dad jokes on Match of the Day.
That's lifetime sponsored Walker's crisps.
That's midnight, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you, mate, put it this way, yeah. Who do you know? What player do you know that's got a lifetime sponsorship with anybody?
Is it a lifetime sponsorship?
It's got to be, man.
So wait, since he's got that, he's now had to pay for a Walker's crisp.
Someone's put in a super chat, said United are finito. Thanks for making 2-horse race again. Well, who's the 2 horses? Is that an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, it's Arsenal.
Get out,
Arsenal
and
City.
Fucking widge.
Nah, it's such a shame. Like, actually, I said this to Jay the other day that it's got down to this. Obviously, with United currently not being contending, obviously the rivals are there in terms of City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, and I feel like the only other big team rival that should be title contenders that you'd rather win than them three is Chelsea, right? And they just shit the bed as well. Because you never want to. If it's almost like if your team's not winning the league, you don't want anyone else to. But obviously that can't happen. But when you're looking at the big rivals, I can't stomach watching City win the league. I can't stomach watching Liverpool win the league, and I can't
Liverpool
stomach
first.
watching Arsenal win the league.
Liverpool over anyone, then maybe Leeds, but that's not going to happen. And Arsenal. That's the three that I like.
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool first by far. I mean, you've
what
got
about
a different
City?
Relationship. City, I
can't stomach watching City win the leagues as well. So it's
I think the proof was in the pudding last year that we all rather Arsenal bottled it and didn't actually give a fuck. City won a treble and no one cared.
It's actually it's crazy. It's true, but like I'm looking at it, think, the lesser of all the evils would be Chelsea winning the league, and they're just shit in the bed as well. So
I don't know if that'd be good at the moment. In the situation Chelsea are in, them winning a league would be awful. I don't know who. If it ain't United this year, what's good? City winning 4 on a bounce? No. Arsenal winning 1? Fuck no. Liverpool? Well, they're not winning it. Don't worry about them. Who else is going to win one? Newcastle? I don't know if that's really, really, really bad because of the precedent that it sets and what it represents with the investment that they're getting. It's awful this year. This year is just going to fucking suck unless it's us. Yeah. And it ain't going to be us, is it? Let's be real with ourselves. Yeah. Right, I think we need to talk about your balls.
Do we?
We need to talk about
balls. Talk about them then.
So the Premier League is back and we've teamed up with the top men's grooming company in the world, and that is Manscaped. Known for their excellence, Manscaped is now introducing the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Beards, now we're talking. Focusing more on just their ball skills, whether you are a Messi or if you're aiming to look sharp, right? Ronaldo, not this one, the other one. Visit Manscaped for the finest grooming products. Get the perfect trim for your face as well as your balls by getting a Manscaped Beard Hedger and Lawnmower 4.0. Visit manscaped.com, use the code XG20. You'll get a 20% discount and free delivery. Elevate your grooming game this season as we celebrate the return of the beautiful game and beautiful beards. 20% off, free shipping. You know where to find it. Check the link in the description and sort your shit out. I'm actually genuinely excited that they've got a beard trimmer because that's the one I use probably more often.
I could never trust myself to trim my beard.
Right, comments. What have we got?
Someone said, how long do you think Chelsea will take to challenge properly? And someone said that Chelsea are actually playing decent football.
Okay, neither of those things is true.
Nah, that's a lie. They played well against Liverpool. They played well for like 60 minutes against West Ham, just crumbled. I watched the game. They actually they look better than last season.
What we're saying here, Kruna says, still some classic Arsenal fan TV meltdowns out there on YouTube that are not even 18-month-old. Talk of fickle. Mehdi says, we need someone in midfield that can dribble and shoot from distance, and we need to swap right wing and left wing as we're too predictable. Yep. Hail Europa says, hopefully City get convicted. How long is this taking, by the way?
By the way, Steve, can you do a full vid on Micah Richards? Would you actually do the problem with Micah Richards? Or I don't think he's problematic enough for that.
No. What's funny is, he FaceTimed Rio the end of last season. Did we leave one in on him at the end of last season? He fucking deserved it, whatever it was anyway. But he fucking FaceTimed Rio going, what's your fucking problem? Like, and I was like,
who's that? Who are you talking about?
Micah Richards.
Micah Richards?
Yeah. Well, I was out there on a Monday.
On Vibe?
Yeah.
Because you spanned him on Vibe?
Yeah. So he rang Rio. I mean, he wasn't like, I don't know, like a former captain of Manchester United rang him up. But I think it was, he took it in jest. It wasn't like problematic, but he was having a laugh with it.
Okay.
Like, I've met Micah a few times, and he is pretty chill.
Do you know what it is? I think he probably rang up and he was trying to joke, but he was also doing it in a way of, when he's joking, but really he's hurt. Probably deep down.
I can't remember what he said. I'm sure someone will be able to find it on the 5.
Andrew says Ronnie has Insta. A beard. ? Yes, I do have a beard. You can clearly see it. And if you say you can't see it, I've got things to say about you.
Yeah, so Lee says Sky know exactly what they're doing, putting Richard, Sturridge and Keane together. I think Daniel Sturridge is box office, to be honest.
Oh, how uncomfortable he made Roy Keane when he sank.
I think he's box office. I think he's mental, but I think he's box office. Have you seen his social media stuff?
Yeah,
he's fucking out there.
He's literally just like that on in real life as well. Because I met him a couple of times when I was at Liverpool when he was there, and I remember when I was on the pitch and we were taking pictures with the first team doing kick-a-bots, and I must have stumbled back and I've almost stood into someone, and he's arm-barred me and just gone. I'm a kid, by the way, and gone, yo, watch the Jordan 4s. That's some flexy Jordans, and I almost stepped on him.
Yeah, I think he's right. He's being him, and I'd rather people be him, be themselves. Like, we work with loads of players that are different on camera and off camera. Like people that are on BBC and ITV, and then they get them and they're just totally fucking different. And you're like, why can't you be this? I don't know if they for whatever reason. Like, who told me? David Beckham and Michael Owen had the same agent. I think Alan Shearer as well might have had the same one. And it was and you think of any of them? Alan Shearer's changing. Alan Shearer's one of the main ones, actually. That off camera is fucking mega.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah.
But on camera, pretty stiff. And then you think Michael Owen. Everyone says to me, oh, Michael Owen's fucking mega. And you go, I ain't seeing it. Like, where? Where from? And apparently they all had the same agent who was like, no, you got to be like safe and safe and safe. Whereas I think it's changed now. You can have a bit of personality. Mate, most of these dudes...
But all Michael
They've always got an edge.
Yeah, but all Michael Owen does is when he's doing the Champions League games as well, he's so pro Liverpool, it's unbelievable. They'll literally lose 3-0 to Real Madrid, and he says after the game, I still think Liverpool are the best team in Europe. I reckon he'll still say it now.
He's in a weird situation because he's kind of homeless, and most legends, if I said to you...
Homeless?
Yeah, in terms of a club.
Because he's played for so many?
Yeah, like, if I say to you any player, you will associate them with a club. If I say Rio, you say United. If I say Shearer, you say Newcastle. If I say Micah Richards, you might say Villa, you might say City, but you've got a home for him. If I say Michael Owen...
I reckon you still say Liverpool.
You do, but Liverpool fans ain't having him because he won a title with United. So he's kind of like... Newcastle fans ain't having him. Stoke ain't having him. Fucking Real Madrid, they'll be like, did he even play for us? Like, if you say Ash, it's Swansea, Stockport, innit?
Yeah. Did Thingy win a Lampard win the title with City?
I don't know, actually. I don't think so.
Because people forget that he played there.
Oh, he might have done, actually. It was 2014.
I don't know. I feel like it was one of his end seasons.
Can we have a quick Google behind the camera, please, and let us know?
Have a little Google to find out whether Lampard won a title with City.
On this, who's the most entertaining pundits? I don't mind listening to Carragher if it's not United or Liverpool that are on, because I don't think he can be objective. And I couldn't be objective, but he can't be objective. Roy Keane, I think, is quite dull.
No, I didn't. Okay.
Roy Keane's quite dull.
Roy Keane's... I don't know if I think he's just him. Like Leo Townsend says, the whole Roy Keane act is so boring now, playing up to it with the clown advert on Sky. As a United fan, creating memes after defeat does us no favours. I don't know, because are you basically upset that Roy Keane is harsh on United once we've had an embarrassing defeat? Is that basically what he's complaining about?
Here's the thing with all United legends. Scholes, Rio, G-Nev, Roy Keane. They're your main ones that you get on TV. You get the occasional other one like Owen Hargreaves and stuff like that. I can't remember anything Owen Hargreaves ever said. But like the likes of Scholes, the likes of Rio.
Do you mean Owen Hargreaves is a Champions League night staple?
Who else was there? Keano.
Yeah.
Keane, Rio, Scholes, G-Nev, right? Mate, we're talking legends at United. You're talking the greatest captain, possibly the greatest player, probably one of the best players, and the second greatest centre-half the Premier League has seen, right?
Okay.
And certainly England's best. What they've got is fucking double mega high standards. And I remember this a lot from when Liverpool fell off after winning the last title, before we went like 30 years before winning one. All of the pundits on TV were Liverpool legends. Alan Hansen, Mark Lawrenson, Souness, people like that, and they were similar. They were critical of Liverpool from a place of love. So they can't say that was good at United, because in their head they're going, that wouldn't have flew. That's not the United I know. Like when they think of United, they think of the pinnacle. Giggs, Scholes, Rio, Keano, like Neville, like. Not Giggs, he's not on telly, is it? But the rest of them. Like, you're talking serious standards and serious levels of ability. When they're thinking about what United represents, and then they're seeing just over the last 10 years, there's been some absolute pish. We as fans know what it was like when they were playing. Mm-hmm. you know what players are like? They'll hate it that this is the standard now. He's fucking shit. I'm 58. I probably still put a better fucking shift in than him in midfield. You know some of them are thinking that. Even Gary Neville, when he's trying to play it down, he must have looked at some of Wan-Bissaka's early performances and gone, Joe and I retired against West Brom. I was better than that.
It's obviously, out of all of them, Gary Neville's probably shows the most humility, but they are very, very harsh when he and so they should be, because I think they've just got a standard, or a set standard in their minds of a football club, and they've seen how much we've fallen below that, and I feel like it does gripe them a little bit.
1,000,000%.
And that's normal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I think the only time you'd ever see them be truly, truly honest, and I don't even know if they ever can be, and I don't think anyone ever is truly, truly honest. I saw the mask slip with Shearer towards the back end before they were sold, and he was kicking off about something, and someone in his ear definitely said something, because Shearer was actually starting giving an opinion on Match of the Day, and you never get that. And it was about 20 seconds where Shearer, and I literally sat up and was like, oh shit, what's going on here? And then it was obvious someone said something in his ear, because then he sat there like this. Like he'd just been told off. And I was like, wow, I saw it. I fucking saw it. And I think the only time you're going to get them to be genuinely honest, you can't really get full honesty out of Gary Neville on ownership, because he's an owner. So he's always going to think, I'm an owner, and stop himself going full on the Glazers and stuff.
Nah, I feel like he's very critical of the Glazers.
He is critical of the Glazers, but in terms of things that owners do, I don't think he goes the full caboodle with it.
I'd see the opposite. I think he's very critical of the Glazers, and I think he tries to sprinkle little bits of ownership knowledge in it that we might not, like little details we might not know about. I feel like he does mention a few, and he puts it into like some of his little descriptions of why he's kind of upset with certain things the Glazers done, and he mentions why, and he tries to go down this whole thing where sometimes he'll speak for 2 minutes about finance and economics and no one knows what he's talking about, but I think he does sometimes do that.
Yeah, I think that, I can't remember the fucking point I was making, whatever. Someone up there, Harsh Vadathan, says, didn't watch football at the time, how was Gary Neville as a player? Right, if I could just explain Gary Neville as a player for you, the way I would explain it is, the greatest achievement that Manchester United had was winning the treble in 1999. And to win the treble, United had a Premier League opponent at every round of the FA Cup. And I believe it was like Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle was our running, right? Not what you would call a tap-in, I don't think. And we had to come from behind. Did we come from behind against Arsenal? It was a replay. We had to come from behind against Liverpool. That's what started the run. We had to come from behind in Turin. Turin, at the time, English teams didn't win in Italy. And we went 2-0 down in about 20 minutes. And we had to get back to 2-2 to go through. We eventually won 3-2. We did that the Wednesday after having a replay on the Saturday or Sunday, against Arsenal. Arsenal, reigning double champions of England at the time, took us to fucking... did it go to extra time? I can't remember if it went to extra time or if it just was in the full 90. I think it might have been extra time against Arsenal, anyway, to win in the semi-final at Villa Park. Thrill at Villa. We had to play Bayern Munich 3 times. We had to play Barcelona twice. Inter Milan. You go Inter Milan. Yeah, with R9. With fucking an absolute barnbuster of a team. Juventus were the best team in the world at the time. And they got a draw at Old Trafford and we had to go and beat them away or get a better result away. Bayern Munich in the fucking final. And win the Premier League with an Arsenal team which they still claim was better. Like, they reckon Vieira was better and like Bergkamp. Like, okay. So the achievement of what these lads achieved then is greater because, you know, we beat Juventus with fucking Deschamps and Davids and Zidane in midfield. Like, what we achieved in that year was sensational. Now, the point I'm making here, one player played every minute of the final 28 games. Who was that player? Every minute.
Gary Neville.
Gary Neville. Does Sir Alex Ferguson pick you for every minute of think of some of the fucking games that was in that from Christmas to the 26th of May? 1999. 28 games. He played every fucking minute of them, and we didn't lose a single game.
I thought, from what I remember, I thought he was meant to just be. He was hardworking, disciplined, honest, did his job, and he had a very good underrated cross on him.
Yeah, he overlapped. He overlapped nice. He was an absolute fucking grafter, communicator, organiser. He tackled hard. He was a hard-working player. He didn't maybe have the flair, and this is a player without a lot of flair, by the way, but he didn't have the flair of a Dennis Irwin. He didn't have the free kicks.
Because I remember him saying he didn't feel like he had the ability of someone like... Because towards the end of his career, that's when we signed... was it the twins? Rafael and Fabio. And then he said he didn't feel like he had the ability of the likes of Rafael.
I think they were better dribblers of the ball, but in terms of what a defender needed to do, what a right-back needed to do, there was a time when Gary Neville would have been... I don't know if he'd ever been considered best in the world in his position because you had the likes of Cafu and that at the time, which probably caught the eye more.
Yeah.
But look at what he achieved. Look at what he won.
Yes.
Look at his contribution to that. You know, and it was a partnership with David Beckham, who criminally underrated at the same time as well. You know, he was, like we said at the top of the show, he's a guy that plays down his own ability. Did he win 10 titles, 8 titles? Fucking come on. Like, how many careers do you need to replicate what Gary Neville achieved? And yeah,
it's no mean feat being a mainstay in that many title winning sides.
No, and like I said, that if you just encapsulate that 28, I'm sure it's 28 games. Someone will pull me up if I'm wrong. 28 games where he played every minute. Think about the exhaustion. Think about the travel. Think about the pressure. You're talking Champions League final, FA Cup final. There was basically a Premier League final because we had to win in the final game, which we did. You've gone to Turin, you've gone to San Siro, you've gone to... You had these fucking replays at Villa Park with Arsenal, who were the reigning double champions at the time. Arsenal could have done a double that year. If they'd have beat us in the FA Cup final, that momentum might have took us on to... And you're talking his brother Phil, let's give a penalty away in the 91st fucking minute. Like, of the replay. Schmeichel saved it. We got the fucking pitch and score. Insanity that season. Absolute insanity. All on the back of the disappointment of a World Cup where one of our players has been completely fucking vilified by the entire media. And Piers Morgan, you fucking prick. Gary Neville, if you just encapsulate that... Do you know what? The treble DVD's out there. I would say go watch it and just go fucking check Gary Neville out. And just watch the decision-making, just the attitude, the controlling of the line. It was fucking top. Yeah.
Someone said Azpilicueta is this era's Neville, consistent leader but not flashy or never number one.
You need players like that in your team.
I see that because Azpilicueta is another, because Azpilicueta is borderline a Chelsea legend now.
Ed says only Kyle Walker is better than Gary Neville. No one else comes close. I'd take that in all honesty.
Someone says I miss Rafael at right back. Yeah. Is anyone actually sure that Delo and Wan-Bissaka are better than Rafael? I really liked Rafael as a player. I know sometimes he'd have the odd stinker now and again, and he was injury prone. But I thought Rafael, ceiling wise, was better than Delo and Wan-Bissaka.
Jibak says if the rumours about SJ, see SJ could be Sir Jim, or it could be.
I was confused by that.
Yeah, so we could answer that for both. Are true. What do you think he'll need to do at United to improve his general perception?
So he's obviously talking about Sheik.
Yeah, I think he probably is talking about the Sheikh. I think the biggest thing he could do, and some people might never believe this, but I think the biggest thing he could do is try and show that it isn't the state that owns this, and it is a consortium of rich blokes in Qatar. And I know people are going to go, there is no rich blokes in Qatar, it's all state money. Okay, if that's the case. But you asked me what could he do? That's what he could do.
Yeah.
He could try and show that this isn't Qatar state owning us. Otherwise, I think that'll always be a thing. As it should be. I don't ever want to see United owned by a state. It might be the case. If it's Sir Jim, he's got to do the same thing and separate himself from the fucking Glazers and be publicly seen. So John Radcliffe was at the final at Nou Camp in 1999. Start playing on that and fucking... I think he played up his Chelsea connections because he was buying Chelsea. I think he probably is a United fan. The guy was at fucking Nou Camp in 99. So I think he probably is a United fan. He's one of them, innit?
No, he's got to be.
Ed says Azpilicueta is very similar just not Nev's level. Stone says, our players in the past played for their livelihood. Now they play for big money. I mean, it was still big money at the time. I just don't think people understood how far it was going to go. Notch says Neville was arguably the weakest player, seen as the weakest player in '99 team. That's how good that team was. I wonder if Fergie would disagree with that, actually.
Nah, probably would. The fact that he wanted to keep him playing, wanted to get him another 1 year contract when Neville thought it was finished.
I think he had a bit of a blind spot when it came to Giggs and Neville and Scholes.
Yeah.
Which you can understand because
slowly
he'd had them since like 1986, kind of. Then they'd started popping in. But Beckham was in the changing rooms when he was like 14 and stuff.
Yeah. He's almost like fathered him.
But says still awesome that two twins, Nani and Ando as a young talent. Yeah.
Sup lads, you getting chippy tea tonight?
I don't know what I'm having.
I don't know what I'm having.
I need some.
Listen, I don't think anyone in this day and age thinks that far ahead. I literally decide 5 o'clock onwards to make the decision.
Pig Riser says Blomqvist started the final, so him. Yeah, but interestingly on that, Fergie fucked up. But being a man of his word, he was never gonna.
Good question.
Wait, what's that? Steve, can you quickly explain why JT is overrated, but it doesn't get mentioned like Gary Neville? Because all the Chelsea fans rallied around John Terry, and he was for some reason seen as some fucking superstar because he put his head in stupid places. Technically, from a defensive point of view, John Terry was not as good as some people seem to. Like the way some people go, oh, he's the best defender the Premier League's ever seen, makes me want to throw up. What was the point I was trying to make before? Blomqvist. So Fergie told Blomqvist
there's another question up there that I want you to get back to.
All right. Fergie told Blomqvist he was going to start the final really, really early. Then changed his mind, but because he'd already told him, stuck to it and didn't flip it and change him. I think it was because he didn't expect Giggs to be fit. So he was like, you're going to play. Giggs ain't going to be fit. Giggs was fit.
He started Blomqvist.
Yeah, well, so he started Blomqvist on the left. And Ryan Giggs, I don't know if this is a poke question, I can't imagine he started many. But he started the Champions League final on the right wing. Ryan Giggs. With Beckham and Nicky Butt in the centre of the park. Obviously, Nicky Butt was always going to start there after what happened with Keane and Scholes in the semi-final in Turin. Beckham, I think, played the FA Cup final from the middle with Solskjaer on the right wing. And for whatever reason, Giggs on the right didn't work. Blomqvist on the fucking left didn't work. Beckham was probably United's best player in the final. It was a low bar because they were shit. We did not deserve to win that game, but we did. And Beckham put 2 fucking good balls in the box. Obviously, Sheringham gets the equaliser, Solskjaer gets the fucking win, and the rest is history. Like I think Andy Cole just couldn't fucking get in the game for whatever reason. What a season!
Fucking hell, some top players you running through there. The question I want you to answer though is John Officer. If you scroll a little bit up deck, John Officer says, because it is quite interesting, is Jassim buying United a bigger deal than a whole Saudi League project? I think there's actually a little bit of credence to that.
For us, yeah. We're obviously a little bit detached. For football,
I think it is quite big as well. Because I know the argument is it's not state owned, whatever, it's chic. But like the whole preface that United, the biggest football club in the world alongside Real Madrid, could become state owned is a huge thing for football in general. So would that be bigger?
United is significant because it's Manchester United, and as we know, it's significant. What's happening in Saudi is having an impact on world football. I don't know. I think they're both pretty fucking significant because like 12 months ago, no one saw this coming.
Yeah, it's true. Obviously, you've got the 20-year-old youngster from Celta Vigo, Gabby Vega. He was on his way to Napoli, and now he's signed for a Saudi team at the age of 20, which is insane. But people are saying that it isn't necessarily the end for these youngsters to go to the Saudi League, because if they go at the age of 21, 22, they make a bit of bank for a few years, they could come back to the European football.
Everything's possible.
So it's possible because obviously Carrasco did it, but I don't know.
Have you seen the Navy SEAL guy that's protecting Messi out in the MLS?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Mate. To be fair, I imagine that is quite a busy job. Because it looks like he is getting harassed out there.
Yeah, seeing that, like he's got any exam when he will put his hand out, he's like, and he's always on goal.
Yeah, he's got.
But I feel like if someone did run onto the pitch to get towards him, and he was quite like gentle with him though.
Just kept him away. He didn't
Kept
nail
him.
Yeah.
Kept him away. Because he mentioned how like he's black belt and all these like different fighting stuff, and obviously he's a former Navy SEAL, so he's basically just a human killer if you want it to be. But he isn't necessarily going to be like that with random people.
Yeah, you don't want it.
But he's got
just fucking out here breaking necks on motherfuckers, do you? Like you're just trying to keep someone away from Messi.
Yeah.
The only time I saw him be a bit, maybe a bit much, was like there was someone dropping flags or shirts or something, and he like seen his ass with one of them and launched it. He didn't need to do that. But yeah, I mean, what a mad job.
Yeah,
There's probably going to be loads of those jobs going in Saudi, looking after fucking all sorts, I imagine.
No, it's true. So Ed says, do a quick 2 years tax free. I think a lot of youngsters.
The thing is, the standard at the minute is garbage, but it won't be garbage forever. It's going to really fucking. It's going to really ramp up to a mad level. I think, and I think it will get there. They've put so much money in, like that. From some people that I've been in and around the gaff at the minute, they're like, yeah, it's like League 2 facilities at the moment.
Yeah.
But he'll get there. The money they're putting in, like you're not going to spend $1 billion on one player's contract over 5 years and not build him a new stadium, are you?
It could. There's still every possibility that this Saudi project can have this kind of start, and in a year or two just falls on its face.
Yeah, it could. It could also be the new place that you go.
Yeah.
Notch said, why is that Navy SEAL allowed to be there? I literally think because it's Messi. I think Messi's got his own rules. I mean, he's literally got his own share of the fucking TV deal, hasn't he?
For the whole of the MLS, yeah.
So I think he's like, oh, and by the way, I want a Navy SEAL on the pitch.
But he can.
He's literally on the side of the pitch.
I don't know if that's the sort of thing he would have just been offered. I think Messi's got the ability to negotiate for that.
Maybe.
Because he says, I'm coming to the MLS. Your TV viewership is going to go up by however much.
Oh, a lot, yeah.
I want a share of that. And what they're going to say, no. Because
he's a ruthless little bastard, that little Messi.
Have you seen what it matters? How much this means for the MLS? Messi going there, even surpassed my expectations.
Yeah. Anyway,
he almost has the ability. Do you reckon he might have the ability to get Americans to stop calling football
Knight
soccer?
says the floor is so low with Saudi players. The floor of the MLS is higher with South American players. The MLS has been going a lot longer though, and Messi's making it look like some pure pub league in it at the minute. Which he was not doing in France, by the way. Now, obviously, France isn't Saudi or MLS, but still, it's, you know.
John Offer says, is it true every team had to pay towards the Messi fee?
I don't know enough about the way MLS works, but it would not surprise me because they have all this like for a country that's like so anti-communist in a lot of its ways.
Very communist the way the sports work.
Extremely communist. It's mad. And then at the same time, extremely fucking commercial. That's the thing. Like, if you own a franchise, which is a word I fucking detest, if you own a sporting franchise, you're chilling. Because you're like, hey, build me the fucking most badass stadium or I'm going to Kentucky because they're gonna.
Yeah. Nah.
And then you're like, the league shares loads of the dough. So if you're shit, everyone else is going to pay in to prop you up. And even if you want to blow loads of dough, you just pay... Like, if you wanted to come in and do what like City and Chelsea and PSG and that have done, then you just pay a fine which goes to the rest of the club. So everyone cashes out. So, like, if you're in the Premier League and City are going fucking... Or Chelsea get some of that action, then you get some of that action as well. And then you can go fucking have some of that action. It's mad. It's mad.
It's just some for you, some for you, some for you, some for you. But I don't know. I can't get on board with the MLS anyway. I've tried to. I've watched like a game before and then, but it does look like Saturday football on Astro. It's not even that good. A little bit flairier, but it's not great at all. Especially Messi.
There's some gaps in there.
Yeah, Messi's gone there, and it just looks like well too easy for him when he's like way past his prime. Hail Europa says MLS is choreographed.
I don't know about that.
Because people are saying they think it's scripted, like his goals and that.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, that's literally what they've said since he's gone there. Every time he's scored a win or got an assist, everyone's like it's scripted.
Yeah, but isn't he scoring an assist in every game?
Yes, I think he's got like 8 and 6 and like 4, a few assists as well. But people think they've scripted it for him to have these performances and to have these goals.
The Grim Commoner says the reason the US doesn't like football is because it's marketed wrong. Well, I don't agree with that line. You shouldn't need to necessarily market football. You should be hooked, and that's you. The fans are goofy and not working class beer drinkers. There's no relegation battle, and the chants are shockingly bad. I will agree on the chants. There's a video going around.
That's exactly it.
Fight and win and fucking leave, mate, because that's fucking horrendous.
Yeah, I think it's what you said. We've mentioned it before. I think football in America is just it's not working class like it is in the rest of the world. So I don't know if that affects some of it.
Yeah, in every other country in the world, people don't. It happens. I mean, Frank Lampard's one example, but isn't Neymar one example as well? Or is Neymar not one of the examples? Or is it Thiago Silva? There's like a really prominent Brazilian player, and they're like, nah, he was fucking loaded growing up. Like, it's not all favelas.
Yeah.
Some of them are like
some of
rich
us are decent.
Out the gate. But for those are the, those are the fucking rarity outliers.
Yeah.
The majority of people who play football are fucking working class.
No, exactly. When he was in America,
Kaká. Yeah, I think Kaká was one of them.
When I was in America, you see in basketball courts and people you can just be a regular person. You go in there and you play. I feel like that's their kind of working class sport.
Boxing's
Football.
Always been that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of immigrants that always get involved in boxing because it's cheap, it's tough, it's one of those ways out, if you like. So there's no matter what nation and what era, it's always been immigrants that have fueled boxing success in every fucking nation that's happened in. If you look at like the 20s and the 30s in America, it was a lot of Jewish immigrants from New York and Italians that were good at it, and then it became more Caribbeans and Africans, and it's always immigrants that sort of fuel the combat sports. And then football, I mean, a lot of American sports, they just look so spendy to play. Like, you want to go and play hockey, you must be spending $1,000 on gear before you fucking get out the gate.
Not true, but obviously they do pay. They pay. Obviously, I feel like they pay more, but everything's a little bit more expensive. I said this to Eddie actually. I was like, because he spent quite a few years living in America. I said to him, Americans for jobs, especially when you get corporate, a little bit more white collar, like they pay a lot more than they do in the UK. And he just generally said, boy, it cancels out with the fact that obviously medical bills, a lot of the underground, and it's just a lot more expensive to live there, which I wasn't necessarily aware of. I thought obviously certain places like LA, New York, but even wider region than that, I think America's just more expensive to live in than a lot of England actually. So that's why they pay more. So it all evens out.
All your extras that you have to do with your tax, like rather than having any sort of PAYE system, because for whatever reason, everyone in America has to do their own taxes, which is nuts when you think of how the pay-as-you-earn system works in the UK. It's bananas.
Yeah.
But it props up like the whole lawyer and accounting industry to a big way. Then obviously you got your medical insurance, and there was some people that really disagreed with us the last time we spoke about this. But I'm sorry you don't like facts. Obviously there's a lot of benefits to be had from work, but that's why you get shafted and don't have minimum wages and things like that at places, because you don't want to kick off, because you don't want to lose the job, because if you lose your job, you lose your medical thingies, and then you're fucked. Like, people getting cancer and then being like, well done, you survived, there's a 600 grand bill. Can you imagine? Like, I'm sure every single person watching this has been touched by that fucking horrendous disease. And if you're fortunate enough to live in the UK, all you got to worry about is fucking comforting and dealing with a sick relative, hopefully, that survived. Not with oh, by the way, we need a GoFundMe because my fucking child's got ill. It's horrible. I don't like seeing that at all. Yeah. Because what happens? We didn't get it, so fuck her, she's gonna die. That's awful.
Yep. It's tragic, but different countries, different.
We've got a super chat there from Cameron, which says, "Yes, lads, loves off the bar yesterday. So jokes. Sorry, it's been covered. Hoyland debut tomorrow, or wait longer. We don't know. He's not starting. I'd be shocked if he starts. Bench at best. Maybe 5 minutes if we're 2-0 up.
I think there's no chance he starts. I think he starts on the bench alongside Martial, because I feel like the jury's out on him as well. Do you not get that vibe that Ten Hag just doesn't want to play Martial or McTominay? Probably thinking that he can sell him off.
I think Martial's got more of a chance of playing, to be honest.
Well, we'll see anyway.
Lee says it blags my head that on a minimum wage was only brought in over here once Tony Blair got into power. Yeah, Tony Blair might have been a bit of a war criminal, but there was a lot of things his government did really fucking well that the Tories have gone about their way undoing. And there was also someone, I mentioned that the NHS was number one in a right load of stuff. I'll find the fucking link again as well, because it was 2013, the NHS was like, there was like 12 categories, and the NHS was number one in about 8 of them or 9 of them. Like across the fucking board, smashed it. And America was down in like the dozens, like overtaken by all sorts of gaffes. And then when you think about, they spend more per person through taxes anyway, and then they have to contribute to it on top. It's fucked. And that, that's not saying the NHS is perfect, because it's not. And the reason it's not is because the fucking Tories are absolutely shafting it. Just absolutely shafting it, because all of their friends are in... Basically, they've looked at the American model and gone, we'd get really rich if we could bring that into the UK. The NHS is one of the best things about Britain. All the fucking gammon that go on about fucking Brexit this and all of the reasons that they vote for the fucking Tories, the one fucking thing that is great about Great Britain is the NHS. Don't let that fucking die, you fucks. All right?
Can end it on that.
Right, we're done. Check Manscaped out. They've got a new beard trimmer, and it's pretty dope. I'll show you mine soon.
See you later.
See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.